We've all been to stores like Save-A-Lot before, and you'll notice if you go into the cereal aisle, there are tons and tons of knockoffs, everything ranging from Cocoa Puffs to Frosted Flakes. And I think that's a good segue into today's video, which will be discussing bootleg toys. So without further ado, enjoy the video. Now the bootleg toy phenomenon is something I'm relatively new to. Now I know what bootleg toys are, of course. Every single name brand toy company under the sun has a couple knockoffs. However, some of these knockoffs are even more creative and just plain hilarious than the toys that they're trying to rip off. And that's what I'm going to be showing today. Some of these just ridiculous and horrible toys. So here we go. Now the first toy on the chopping block today is this horrible abomination called Boba Fett. Yes, this is a thing I was so surprised to find out that somebody out there had the horrible idea of throwing Bulbasaur's head on Boba Fett's body. Why is this a thing? I don't know. I've tried looking everywhere for it, to be honest. I have not found it for sale anywhere yet, but I think by far the best part of this figure is the name on the package. Poke Wars, the power that's inside. I will be disappointed if that is not the title for the next Star Wars movie. That is just gold right there. Now our next toy is probably the least weirdest one of today, which is saying something. But I don't really know if we can classify this as a toy. It's more of a poster, but I think it still deserves a spot on this list. And that poster is Super Mariano. This is horrifying. This looks way more like Luigi than it actually does look like Mario. And even still, where is his mustache? And believe it or not, that isn't even close to the most horrifying merchandise you will see on this show today. Just take a look at this next one, for example. Now I know a lot of weird toys come out of Japan, but this may quite possibly be the weirdest toy I have ever seen. It is what I can only assume to be an anime Thomas the Train. Take a look at this thing. It is horrifying. For one, it looks like they've put Thomas the Train's head on Buzz Lightyear's body. It's so weird. It looks exactly like that other robot in the background. And let's also take a moment to appreciate just the fine paint job that this Thomas the Train has gotten. Look at that gun in his hand, they're exactly the same color. This is the type of paint we want on all our action figures. And surprisingly enough, that is the only Japanese toy that is making this list today. However, in terms of weirdness, it might be beaten out by this next toy. Now up next, we have a whole box set of superheroes. I introduce you to Superman Big Alliance. This is the most amazing box set of superheroes I have ever seen. It has every hero you could ever want. Shrek, Sandman, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. Who could ask for more? My only complaint is I don't think the Ninja Turtle needed to be there. It was the odd one out in my opinion, but that's just me. Anyways though, we have even more superheroes coming up. If you like Marvel's The Avengers, well, get ready for Marvel's The Revengers. Now, the Revengers are a line of bootleg action figures that were put up for sale on a website called Obvious Plant and sold out shortly afterwards. The line consists of 8 figures. The most notable and popular of these figures is the Incredible Fella. Now, this figure is special for a couple of reasons, mainly for its name. Calling him the Incredible Fella is just as bad as calling Godzilla Big Fella. Oh, wait. Now, another interesting thing about this figure is the awful CGI picture on the box. Seriously, this is the stuff of nightmares. And speaking of knights, let me introduce to you the next figures in the Revengers line. His name is Nighty Knight, and the figure himself even comes in a bed. But the naming puns don't end here. Next up is Regular Raccoon, Fedora Ron, and Token Girl. All 3 of these figures are special in their own way. Firstly, Regular Raccoon just may be the coolest Marvel hero of them all, but eventually you'll realize you're just paying $48 for a raccoon in a box. Next up is Token Girl, who is some of the worst CGI box art I've ever seen. And finally we've come to my favorite figure in the line, Fedora Ron. My only problems with this figure are 1, the CGI artwork may not be advertiser friendly, and 2, he has the same problem as Regular Raccoon, being you're just paying $48 for a fedora, albeit a very nice and high quality fedora, but still. Now you're probably wondering why I'm not talking about the other figures in this set. Well, aside from this one picture of the set, out of these, Hacker Boy, Detective Horse, and Greg don't have any pictures online. And probably the last noteworthy thing about the Revengers figures is that all of the figures have an adjective before their name, except for one that's just called Greg. Now we are going to be moving on to our next bootleg toy. Now of course it wouldn't be a Chessman Studios video if I didn't include some kind of Sonic reference. So here it is. So I have a couple of problems with this Sonic figure. First, Super Sonic's mouth is humongous, Knuckles' body isn't even close to being the same color as his head, and Sonic looks like he spent way too much time reading his own fanfiction. In fact, the only toy in this set that looks normal is the Tails figure. Also that name, Sonic the Hedgehog. How do you mess that up? But it looks like that's all the time we have for today. As always, if you want me to talk about even more bootleg toys, let me know down in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.